I just finished 3 septorhinoplasties, and one of my favorite subjects, not only from the fact that I do the noses from inside and no outside cuts, so I'm able to accomplish the cosmetic improvement, which is called the rhinoplasty, but the other part of nose surgery is straightening the septum. That means improvement of the breathing. Now, breathing is just one of the most important aspects of our life. In yoga, they say life is breath, and the breath is the one you take. That's one breath. It's called ujjayi breathing. You're lifting the diaphragm, and that pushes the lungs and pushes all the dirty air out. And when you breathe in, the diaphragm pushes down and the lung expands, and you're inhaling this pure oxygen into your lungs, and through the lungs it circulates into every cell in your body. So oxygenation through the nose by breathing properly. You need to have straight septum. You need to have the valves not collapsed. They need to be open, and for that reason a lot of people use Breathe Right to open up this valve area. So when I'm doing surgery and the septum is a straight septum and here is the broken septum, it's twisted. So when I do the septum, I straighten it, and these broken pieces of cartilages, I will straighten it and stitch it. And the size of the cartilage is the patient's own cartilage. It's about that size. That broken piece of cartilage is straightened in, and it's stitched into the valve area. So that collapse of the valve is pushed out, and it reconfigures itself, and the valve is open. So it's permanent repair of the valve, and this is patient's own cartilage. It's called spreader graft. This is something I invented with one of my teachers, Dr. Jack Sheen, about 35 years ago. So this is an amazing thing. So straightening the septum and using the own cartilage, patient's own cartilage, to create spreader graft. So if this is the top edge of the septum, the spreader graft is stitched to right side of the septum, and then to the left side of the septum right here, and that allows the valves to open up, and so there's no collapse. The valves open up. So now you have a straight septum, and you have the valve repair with spreader graft, and that allows for consistently good breathing. Thirdly, the turbinates. The turbinates are structures which, in pretty much everybody who lives in any kind of urban environment, any city in the world, be it Chicago, London, Moscow, Mumbai, Los Angeles, Chicago, doesn't matter. The turbinates are enlarged, and the reason they're enlarged, that our environment inside the house, inside our bedroom, is dry. And why is it dry? It's because we use excess amount of air conditioning in the summer months, and we use heaters in the winter months. What do heaters and air conditioning do? They deprive the air of the moisture. The air has to have a significant amount of moisture for us to breathe, and when we breathe the air which is moisturized, then the turbinates do not have to swell up. The straight septum, and here's the 2 inferior turbinates, and these are middle turbinates. and there's a superior turbinate also, inferior, middle, and superior. And mostly we are concerned with the inferior turbinate, the swollen turbinate. If it swells up, it goes to the bottom of the floor, blocks the nasal airway, and it merges or connects with the septum, and the two connect like this turbinate is touching the septum, then the air cannot go in. And this turbinate is making a lot more mucus than this turbinate. And the reason it does that because the air which is coming in is very dry. What can we do? So just as starters, it's great to have an ultrasonic cool mist humidifier right next to your bed. The humidifier, the nozzle of the humidifier has to be above the head so it can drop the cool mist on your face, and that's the air you breathe. And when you breathe that humidified, moisturized air, then there's no issues. The turbinates do not have to swell up, and that being the case, your breathing apparatus, the nasal breathing, is much better. So 3 elements for good breathing. 1, the septum has to be straight. 2, the valves have to be normal, not weak or collapsed. Thirdly, the turbinates are enlarged. The best solution for enlarged turbinates on a regular basis is sleeping with an ultrasonic humidifier sitting right next to you on a stool, propped up, and the 2 nozzles are pouring cool mist on your face. So if those 3 things are done, then the breathing is normal, and you can breathe 100% of air through the nose and get proper oxygenation of every cell in the body. So breathing, oxygenation, and nasal breathing is really, really critical to our existence